The penultimate episode was about choices. We knew at least one Faithful had to make a choice due to Coco's decision to blackmail Dom, a decision that didn't have the weight of Dom being instantly eliminated if he rejected the blackmail. What we didn't know was that this wasn't the only choice that could prove pivotal in the game. Episode 9 starts off with Dom deciding if he wanted to accept the blackmail to become a traitor. With Dom in possession of a shield, he had a unique opportunity to refuse the blackmail but remain in the game. Dom chose to remain a Faithful, stating he would rather be banished as a Faithful than a traitor. You could see how Venus being unveiled as a traitor affected him and probably had some bearing on his decision. Now the question was, who would Coco blackmail next? I wasn't sure who Coco would or should pick, as she would need to be very strategic with her choice, especially as it sounded like she wanted someone to go to the end with. Coco also needed to take into account which Faithfuls would be good to have in the end game. I was slightly surprised Coco chose to blackmail Charla, but the surprise was only because I thought Coco would want Charla as her trusted Faithful in the end. Whether this works out for Coco is another thing, because this adds another dimension to Charla and Meredith's game. If both Charla and Meredith make it to the end, Charla can use their relationship with Meredith to win as a solo traitor, which means they both win. Regardless of what might happen, I thought Coco's plan of telling Charla she was recruited by Rhea and Venus was a really good move. It gives Charla a different perception of Coco's game than if Charla knew Coco was a traitor from the start. Whether Charla fully believed the lie is another thing, though it wasn't stated. This beef between Lizette and Meredith has become tiresome and I'm totally over it. It's a good thing this is the penultimate episode. I was surprised to see Sarah Nicole walk into the breakfast room instead of Cara. I won't repeat what I've said in my 2 previous videos about Sarah Nicole being dangerous. Even Coco herself said that Sarah Nicole and Hollywood tend to vote as a block, though it hasn't always been the case. Add that to what I've previously said, and this would also be a hurdle to the traitors winning. The one thing that could help the traitors is if suspicions were thrown in Sarah Nicole's direction. The topic of Dom or Hollywood possibly being blackmailed was brought up by Sarah Nicole, and Dom shook his head no. At this point of the episode, given his deflated vibes and answer, I was expecting Dom to find himself up for banishment, but the Faithfuls seemed to be looking elsewhere. With Cara's elimination, this meant Jamal would have to rethink part of his whole theory of who the traitors were. Up until this point, he was adamant the traitors were Cara and Meredith. During this conversation with Meredith, I wondered if he still felt the same about her. Jamal could have been pivoting away from that thought, but Meredith, in an excitable state, made a massive mistake.
I feel like I'm in it. I feel like I'm playing. I love it.
You are
That I'm a traitor? No, that I got down to the traitor face-off last night?
I think Meredith should calm herself a little, as it might get her into trouble. This mission was definitely something. The players being kidnapped, then chained to a beam, and voodoo dolls that were to be stabbed. The less said about that element, the better. Each minute it took for them to free themselves would see Kareen take away money that they could possibly add to the prize pot. The last doll that hadn't been stabbed would mean that player would be eligible to win an advantage. In the end, they only made $1,000, while Hollywood's doll was the last one remaining, meaning he won the special advantage. Throughout the episode, there was a lot of theories and a lot of names being thrown around. With less players, everybody was up for scrutiny, though it was some more than others. I wasn't sure if Meredith would find herself as a front runner for banishment, or if one of the other Faithfuls would find themselves banished before the final episode. It looked like it was weighing on him, but I was still surprised Dom told Hollywood about the blackmail. What's been noticeable is the trust that Dom and Hollywood have with each other, from using shields to protect each other to this. It is something that can help them but give others possible cause for concern, especially for the traitors to be able to win. The one thing the traitors wouldn't want is a pair of Faithfuls who have a high enough trust with each other to end the game together. Hollywood's advantage was to either pick a shield or a dagger, which would give him 2 votes at the round table. Whichever one he didn't choose, he would need to give to another player. Kareen gave him the opportunity to talk to 3 players before giving one of them the unwanted item. Hollywood chose Charla, Dom and Sarah Nicole to have a conversation with. Hollywood's plan was to set a trap for Charla and Sarah Nicole, and after the talk, Hollywood gave Charla the dagger. At the round table, we had a vote for Jamal and 2 for Meredith. With Charla's dagger, there ended up being a tied vote between Lizette and Sarah Nicole. Charla's re-vote still counting as 2 caught me by surprise, as I was scrambling to remember if I had seen a tied vote with a dagger in play. I feel that with the growing list of versions, I'm starting to forget what I've seen and where, especially the ones I've watched before starting this channel. Anyway, in what should have been more of a tense re-vote, the comments about wanting to either be on Sarah Nicole's podcast or wanting Sarah Nicole to be in theirs was a comic relief that was needed, not just for the players, but for me also. There was something I felt was missing from this episode. It felt very low energy, and the tiredness of the players seemed more evident than usual at this point of the game. With Coco being the last and deciding re-vote, Sarah Nicole was banished. Lizette lives to see another day in the game, but she's burnt another bridge after accusing Hollywood of being a traitor. I thought Lizette trusted Hollywood, and that she thought Charla and Meredith were the remaining traitors, but it looks like Lizette thinks there's 3, with Meredith willing to vote out Lizette on the basis of Lizette being a bad faithful, and others questioning if she's a distraction. I wouldn't be surprised if Lizette is the first player banished in the last episode. With no more roles revealed and no opportunity to win $10,000 for banishing a traitor, the faithfuls won't know if they were correct until the end of the game. Jamal, Lizette and Meredith are the traitors' options for elimination, choosing to not take the chance with Dom and Hollywood, given the hints that Hollywood gave the shield to Dom. Going into the final episode, it wouldn't surprise me if the traitors win, but that would be the same about how I feel if the faithfuls win. With season 1, I thought the faithfuls would win, but it swung in the opposite direction, while I thought the traitors would win in season 2. This time, I don't know which way it may go, as there's still at least one unpredictable faithful in the game, and there could easily be 2 of them, depending on who is eliminated. Let's see who comes out victorious.